Rate conversions, self-test number 1. When you see a new problem, click on the stop sign to pause the video, then try to work it out yourself. Then click on the go sign to see it worked out and to find out how you did. First, a refresher from the tutorial on rate conversions. Any number multiplied by the number 1 is the same amount. Its value does not change. The number 1 can be written many different ways. 1 over 1 is equal to 1. 7.2 over 7.2 is equal to 1. X over x is equal to 1. Infinity over infinity is equal to 1. Pi over pi is equal to 1. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. 1 hour is the same amount of stuff as 60 minutes. 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. It's the same amount of stuff. 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. It's the same length. 3 feet is equal to 36 inches. It's the same length. So what that means is if we put 1 hour over 60 minutes, that's equal to 1. And if we put 1 minute over 60 seconds, that's equal to 1. If we put 1 yard over 3 feet, hey, it's equal to 1. And if we put 3 feet over 36 inches, it too is equal to 1. We can flip it over, and instead of having 1 hour over 60 minutes, we can have 60 minutes over 1 hour, and that's equal to 1. We can have 60 seconds over 1 minute, and we can have 3 feet over a yard, and we can have 36 inches as the numerator over 3 feet, and they're all equal to 1. All right, let's work out an example here. 7.23 miles is how many yards? Well, 7.235 miles times the number 1 is going to give us the answer in yards. But we have to write the number 1 in exactly the right way. So 7.23 miles times the number 1, 5,280 feet over 1 mile, means that our miles cancel out, and then we'll come up with feet. But we need the answer in yards. We'll see how that happens. So we go ahead, we crunch the numbers, and we wind up with 38,200.8 feet is equal to 7.235 miles. But the answer that they wanted was in yards. So you know what? We have to multiply it times the number 1 again. So we have 38,200.8 feet times 1 yard over 3 feet. And we chose to put 3 feet in the denominator's position here so that our feet here would cancel with our feet here. Remember, this is a numerator, it's just over 1, and this is our denominator because it's on the bottom. So now we have some number, it's a pure number because we got rid of the feet, times 1 yard over 1 times the pure number 3. So that gives us 38,200.8 as the numerator and 3 as the denominator, yards. Now it's just a long division problem. We just come in and we do the top in, bottom out on this puppy, and we wind up with 12,733.6 yards, which is what they were seeking. How many yards are in this many miles? One more example, and then we'll get to the self-test so that you can see how you are doing. Convert 2.7 pounds to ounces. 2.7 pounds times the number 1 is going to give us the answer in ounces if we picked the number 1 correctly. And that is 2.7 pounds, and we're going to write the number 1 as 16 ounces over 1 pound. This is just the number 1. Now, we then come through and we can cancel out the pounds. They don't go away. They become the number 1. And so this is all over 1. And so when we cancel this pound, it just becomes a number 1. So we have 2.7 times 1 times 16, all over 1 times 1, which is 1 because this is no longer pounds. So we wind up with 43.2. And now the self-test. Convert 2.7 hours to minutes. Click on the stop sign. Okay, let's see how you did. 2.7 hours times the number 1 equals some unknown number of minutes. So we multiply 2.7 hours times the number 1, 60 minutes over 1 hour. We chose hours because these are in the numerator's position. Remember, it's just over 1, and this factor is in the denominator's position. And so now we have 2.7 times 60 all over 1 times 1, and that's going to give us 162 minutes, because remember, our hours were canceled, and so all were left, the units, are minutes. convert 17 feet to centimeters. Click on the stop sign. Okay, 17 feet. We're going to multiply it times 1, and that will give us our centimeters. So we have 17 feet times the number 1, 12 inches over 1 foot, and that means that the feet cancel, and the feet cancel, because we can cancel the numerator, the feet in the numerator with the feet in the denominator, and now we have 17 times 12 inches times 1 times 1, over 1 times 1. And then we're going to multiply that times the number 1, 2.54 centimeters over 1 inch. So we have inches in the numerators, and we have feet, and we have feet. They cancel, and so now we wind up with the pure number 17 times the pure number 12 times 2.54 centimeters, all of that over, we can just call this 1 times 1 times 1. And we wind up with 518.16 centimeters. Okay, we're going to convert 18 minutes into seconds. Click on the stop sign. Alright, let's see how you did. Well, we're going to multiply 18 minutes times the number 1, and that will give us the answer in seconds if we pick the number 1 correctly. So we're going to multiply 18 minutes times the number 1, 60 seconds over 1 minute. This is just the number 1. We have minutes in the numerator's position. We have minutes in the denominator's position. We now then simply can come in and multiply the pure number 18 times 60 seconds and 1 times 1. And that will give us 1,080 seconds. Okay, we're going to convert 15.25 feet into yards. Click on the stop sign. Let's see how you did. 15.25 feet times the number 1 will give us the answer in yards if we pick the number 1 correctly. So we're going to multiply 15.25 feet times the number 1 yard over 3 feet, and then we have feet in the numerator's position, they cancel. We have feet in the denominator's position, they cancel. So now we have 15.25 times 1 yard divided by 3. And when we have 15.25 yards divided by 3, that's the same thing as 5.08333, and this is a repeater, yards. Okay, we're going to convert 23 gallons into liters. Notice there's no stop sign. Well, that's because I have to give you a hint. 1 U.S. gallon is equal to 3.785 liters. Now I say a U.S. gallon because the gallon we use in the United States is slightly smaller than the gallon that the British use, so we call that a U.S. gallon. Okay, now click on the stop sign. Alright, let's see how you did. Well, we're going to multiply 23 gallons times the number 1, and that will give us an answer in liters. So we're going to multiply 23 gallons times the number 1, 3.785 liters per gallon, and the gallons cancel. So we have gallons in the numerator, gallons in the denominator. They cancel. It now just becomes we multiply the pure number 23 times 3.785 liters, and that will be all over the number 1. And when we do that, you know that any number over the number 1 is just that number. So the correct answer is 87.055 liters. If you're getting these right, then you know how to do them. If you aren't, then you need to see your instructor for some help. Your comments, questions, and suggestions are always welcome, encouraged, and appreciated. You may write to me at alanmorris@yahoo.com.